next guest comes from, as a partner of Shop.ca and Buytopia.ca and known as the Arctic Man. Give it up for Andrew OBrien! Andrew, come join me. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
How
are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
Come join me. Excellent.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I wore my Bab socks for you tonight.
Nice.
Leaf supporter.
So how's everything? How are you
Good.
doing?
Busy, yeah.
Yeah?
Working a lot and just buckling down.
Amazing.
Yeah, you?
Cool. Just chatting to some amazing people like yourself. Could you, for our audience that aren't familiar with you, could you just sum up who Andrew OBrien is?
Yeah, I'm a partner at Shop.ca and Buytopia. Also a avid Arctic goer. Did a polar bear excursion up there. So yeah, businessman / adventure, you know.
Cool. You got to have that balance, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. So talk to us about Shop.ca, Buytopia.ca.
So Shop.ca and Buytopia are one of the biggest deal sites in Canada. So we offer anything from travel getaways to crazy products, salons, restaurants, and you can get them at 50 to 90% off. So
wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty great for shoppers, and it's one of those things where everybody does does all these different things, so you might as well do it at 50 to 90% off if you're going to go out and do it. So
exactly, cool. I'm curious, how did you get started with it?
We just kind of I left my job down in the downtown core. I was doing some different stuff down there, and we came up with a cool idea. With the founders started this great idea, and I came in as a partner, and just kind of went from there.
Cool. And you probably use it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where every time we get something that I think would be great for somebody that I know that likes to get their hair cut, or maybe medieval times, or it could be Leaf games or Raptor games.
Right.
I always try and share what we're doing. So
sure, yeah. Well, I'm sure once the viewers go on to the website, they know how to use it. But if it was someone like small businesses, would they be able to approach you and say like, hey, I want to give you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a performance-based marketing strategy. So rather than throwing out tens of thousands of dollars to do print or radio or whatever it might be, this is a way for them to cover their costs before they actually do the promotion, and it's also a way to drive incremental traffic.
Amazing.
So they get the marketing, they protect themselves from risk, and they give people a great experience.
Cool.
So,
nice.
Yeah, so that really sums it up.
Cool. Okay, well, I'm really excited to talk about your Arctic experience.
Yeah, so I went on a polar bear excursion up to Churchill. Yeah, so I lived with the locals for 2 weeks. We did some dog sledding. We went in the helicopter. We saw about 60, 70 polar bears. It was maybe 10 feet from one. It was about 1,300 pounds.
So I actually watched one of your previous interviews on Rogers TV, and you actually said that polar bears are the only animals that their prey are humans.
Yeah,
what was going through your mind when you?
Well, I never try and be the fastest. I just try and be faster than the slowest person.
Okay.
It's one of those things where they actively do hunt, human as prey.
Right.
They're the largest land carnivore in the world.
Wow.
They can get up to 1,500 pounds. So when you actually see one for the first time, you realize the actual size and power of them.
Yeah, and we've got one up here. Is this?
Yeah, this was on the driveway of Brian Ledunes from Polar Bear Town from Discovery Channel. So I got to know the crew there.
Wow.
And it was pretty crazy. They were actually pretty docile for the most part, but a lot of times you can't really take that. You got to take that as a grain of salt. They could be like that 1 second, and then you turn your back, and they might remove your head. So you have to be really careful. But yeah, they're great animals, but you have to have respect for them, and you do have to be vigilant when you're up there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, cool. Well, you brought us a couple videos.
Right? Yeah, some dog sledding videos.
Okay,
and,
cool.
When you see the first encounter I had, this was a dog sledding. This was the first polar bear I saw. I was actually outside of the truck at this point, and he was about 1,300 pounds.
1,300?
Yeah. We saw him coming from way down. It's really hard to detect them. So one thing you learn from the locals there, is how to spot them. It's a little bit of yellowish in the snow, and you have to listen for crunching. So if you're outside of the bar, or you're walking home, you got to listen for crunching in the snow, really loud crunching. but yeah, that was the scariest time. He was massive.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Would you do it again?
Yeah, I would do it again. I'm supposed to be going there in July for a beluga swimming tour.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty great place to go, and Churchill is one of those places that's really unknown, you know, but it's it's an ancient migration path for polar bears. It's the largest population of them in the world. So 1,100 of them actually go through the town of Churchill, and there's only 700 people that live in the town. So
wow.
yeah, it was everywhere you go there's potential for a polar bear meet, and you just got to be ready, and you've got to be smart. So
I'm like, was there an instant where you're just like, hey, this is what I actually want to meet a polar bear? Or like, what sparked that interest?
I've always thought they were majestic. Every time I went to the zoo, they were the first animal I went to since I was, I was a young kid. And then, I saw the Polar Bear Town show, and I thought, this could be something that really pushed my boundaries here, because I'm so busy with business, and sometimes you get wrapped up in the everyday life that, it was really interesting for me to be able to kind of go outside of my comfort zone, and do something that really is on a bucket list for for anybody. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Are there other animals that you'd like to kind of encounter?
The other is maybe Kodiak Island for the Kodiak bear.
Wow.
Yeah, and maybe the Siberian tiger out in obviously Russia. So
okay.
Yeah, so those are a couple that I have my eye on. But every time you do something like this, there is an element of danger and there is an element of risk. So you do have to be careful. And it's always important to really know people that live in those areas that can really be a guide, because if you start going to be a hero in these places, and there's certain places in Churchill, if you walk there, you will encounter a polar bear.
Yeah.
And it probably will eat you.
So other than what the locals told you, you got to listen up for crunching.
Yeah.
For the the polar bears. Was there anything else that you learned that you have to?
Don't overdrink when you're up in Churchill. There is bars up there. The reality is you have to be focused. A walk home from a bar could be your last up there. There was a girl, Erin, that I met up there. Who was attacked by a polar bear one night walking in between the houses, which they say not to do. So try and stay on the lit street. There's just different things, just common sense, just being smart. You got the largest land carnivore, as a predator that is double the population of the people there. So there is inherent danger. So. Okay,
cool. Like dog sledding is something on my bucket list. I don't know if it is on a lot of Canadians, but was it something like?
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Was it what you imagined it to be?
Yeah, it's great. In Churchill, it was one of those things where there was that element of danger where you're in polar bear country. So as you're dog sledding through the forest, I even slept in a forest with the locals. There was one person up always that was armed with bear crackers, which is a large firecracker gun that can hopefully scare the polar bear.
Did you sleep through the night though?
No, not really. Especially when I went to the outhouse and I saw a bear print on the front door, and it's made of a light wood, which they could probably lean on and bust the whole outhouse down.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, there was some eerie times,
Wow.
And every time you hear something creak in the night, you're in the middle of the forest, you hear the trees creaking and that. So, every time you heard a sound, I always slept with one eye open.
Okay.
Cool. It was great, but it was your adrenaline's going.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
much.
Awesome. Well, we're almost out of time. Could you just direct our viewers to your website and
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go to shop.ca, we're a partner with Aeroplan. You're going to get double the points next week from any purchase. And if you go to buytopia.ca, we're going to give 10% off if you type in Rogers as a promo code next week.
Nice. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being here, Andrew.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I love Rogers.